What is up, everyone? I am Mr. Baller, and you are watching the team analysis for the Delfgauw Woopers, which is the team coached by Senpai for the International Showdown Competition, Season 1. This is not my own team, of course, but Senpai is unable to record his own videos. He doesn't have the software, doesn't have the time, I don't know exactly. But I'm doing it for him. So here I am. Senpai stole my favorite Pokemon, and I don't like it. All in all, I'm going to talk about this team real quick. In general, his team is really fast, for at least on a lot of Pokemon, like Cryogonal, Ludicolo, in rain, Cryogonal, or Aerodactyl, Rapidash, or really fast Pokemon. Magneton is usually Scarf, stuff like that. He has a really nice speed, but he also has some really slow Pokemon, like Mega Sableye and Amoonguss and Diggersby and Uxie and Ampharos. It's just kind of an interesting team. He has one very defensive side on his team, one very offensive side, and I'm going to talk about both real quick. First off, it's going to be the more defensive side, consisting of Mega Sableye, Amoonguss, Uxie, Hitmontop, and Ampharos. That's kind of the defensive Pokemon on this team. Mega Sableye is obviously an amazing Mega Evolution. Magic Bounce is just an incredible ability to have. This thing was temporarily Ubers before it dropped pretty much immediately again. This thing is so good. It has so much potential. It has Prankster before Mega Evolution because we are playing on Auras, so no Sun and Moon nerfs, I guess. Buffs to Mega Evolution, I don't know. Okay. It has Prankster before Mega still. And that Magic Bounce ability means that bringing hazards against Senpai, is simply not going to be the best option. However, it does have that weakness to fairies, and fairies are very powerful in general, and he does not have the best switch into fairies in the world. Magneton and Bisharp are... I guess he has Amoonguss, but Amoonguss isn't going to like... A lot of fairies back Psych Shock, so I don't think he's going to really want to switch that in. Magneton is not exactly the bulkiest thing in the world, and you could relatively easily just back HP Ground. And Bisharp doesn't even resist it, so yeah. How are you going to deal with it? I don't necessarily see it, but... It's still a very good Pokemon, don't get me wrong. It's going to be able to wall a lot of things, potentially sweep with that Calm Mind set, of course. It's just generally a very nice Pokemon, and I have faith that Senpai can use it well. Next up is his Amoonguss. Amoonguss is an incredible Pokemon, of course, with that move Spore. We brought it down to UU, keep in mind. Amoonguss is UU, so he got this pretty cheap. Spore is, of course, a great move because 100% sleep is really awesome. Grass types can switch into it, but he has Sludge Bomb, so he kind of scares grass types from switching in. It's kind of awkward once again. He does have the ability Regenerator, which is really nice for a defensive Pokemon. All in all, it's just a very good Pokemon, but its bulk is not the best in the world for a Pokemon as defensive as it is. It has relatively low defensive stats, which is weird because everyone always sees the Amoonguss as the bulky monster that it is. But it's really not. Its bulk is mostly from Regenerator and Synthesis. And it's just annoying with Spore and stuff like that. It's a good stall Pokemon, but it's kind of interesting. It has Foul Play as well, which is cool. It's pretty good. I like it a lot. Obviously, I can't talk for Senpai as to why exactly this Pokemon was drafted, but I mean, it was, and it's definitely not a bad Pokemon at all. Now, another defense Pokemon on this team is Uxie. Uxie is a great rock setter. No, it's hard to prevent Uxie from setting up the rocks, because yes, you can taunt it, but really, you're not killing it in one hit. It can usually just wait out to taunt, honestly, and not even really give a crap. This thing is super bulky, super defensive, doesn't have much of an offensive presence, but it's definitely a good pick for tier 3. Honestly, Uxie can do a lot of things, has a momentum move in U-turn. It's just generally very good, in my opinion. But not everyone agrees. I have used Uxie before, it did a lot of work, but Uxie is not necessarily seen as the best Pokemon by everyone. Because it lacks a really good offensive presence. But I think it can definitely put in a lot of work. Could potentially even set weather for its Ludicolo. I believe it gets Rain Dance, so that could be interesting. And I'm really looking forward to seeing Senpai use this Pokemon well. Another defensive Pokemon on this team is Hitmontop. Hitmontop is of course a spinner, and you might be like, why the hell are you saying Hitmontop is a defensive Pokemon? It's usually more of an off-tank, and yeah, it is. But it's usually more used in a defensive role with things like Fake Out and Rapid Spin. And just Rapid Spin and get out, pretty much. I think Hitmontop can function really well as a physical or special wall, thanks to that Intimidate ability. And, however, it can have an offensive presence with Technician, Fake Out, Bullet Punch, Mach Punch. I don't even know sure if it gets Mach Punch. I know it gets Bullet Punch. But it can definitely function quite well, and I really want to see how exactly Senpai uses this. Because it's a very good Pokemon if used well. But if it's not used well, yeah, that's kinda awkward. Because this Pokemon is incredibly... Yeah, it's just weird. I don't know about exact... I don't have a lot of experience with Hitmontop. I just know it's a weird Pokemon. And I'm gonna prepare for it, but I do need to... Senpai does need to use it very well. For the final advanced Pokemon on this team, it's Ampharos. Ampharos is really strange. Once again, he has a lot of really strange Pokemon. Ampharos is an electric type that gets Heal Bell. And it's just weird. Ampharos is a defensive electric type. We all know Mega Ampharos' Restock set, I assume. But Ampharos does pretty much the same thing. It's so strange. It is a great utility Pokemon that can definitely take some hits. And it's not a bad pick from PU at all. It's just really weird, and I don't know. I really don't know how you would use an Ampharos. I have never used one before. I personally have no clue. I'm gonna do a lot of research when I have to fight Senpai to just be able to deal with this thing, because I don't know what it's gonna do, man. I have no idea at all. But whatever. On the offensive side, Senpai stole my favorite Pokemon. Bisharp. God damn it. It's... Oh my god, my mascot, man. I don't want to have to face my own mascot. Why? Why? My mascot. Stolen. No, but in all seriousness, Bisharp is a very, very strong Pokemon. With that Define ability, it prevents opponents from defogging relatively easily. And is capable of knocking off items with a very, very strong knockoff, of course. Sucker Punch hasn't been nerfed yet, so Bisharp is still just as good as it was. It just does a lot of damage, has a really nice priority, great powerful stabs in knockoff with Iron Head, and coverage options in the Brick Break, though usually it's not even going to bother running it. It can also function as a Pursuit Trapper for the stall side of his team, which isn't bad at all. However, it is quite frail and quite slow, which might make it hard to use very well. I obviously know how to use Bisharp. I've used it a ton. It's my favorite Pokemon, and now I have to deal with it. And I don't like it. I don't want to have to deal with it. I just want to use it, honestly, but whatever. I didn't get it. I wasn't really planning on getting it either, but just also wasn't really expecting on it being drafted. That's what weakness to fighting is really, really gonna hurt it. But whatever. Next up is Diggersby, which is honestly quite a similar Pokemon to Bisharp in what it does. It hits very hard, but it's very frail and very slow, meaning that it's gonna rely on its quick attack as priority to deal with anything faster than it, which is pretty much everything. So that's gonna be interesting. I really wonder how exactly he plans on using Diggersby. Interestingly, Diggersby is the only ground type to learn Spikes, though I highly doubt he's gonna be using Diggersby as a Spike setter. It's just a fun fact. It's not a bad Pokemon at all. It can definitely hurt certain teams. That huge power ability buffs up his attack a crazy amount, and it's gonna be quite useful for his team, that's for sure. And next up is Aerodactyl, and when I see an Aerodactyl, I immediately think of its Suicide Lead set. Because, in my opinion at least, Aerodactyl doesn't do much else. I know he can be offensive, but without its Mega Evolution, it doesn't hit super hard by any means. And I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of Aerodactyl, honestly. It's definitely a good Suicide Lead, don't get me wrong. It can definitely fill that role very well. And Suicide Lead Stall is not a bad thing. I'm just not a huge fan of Aerodactyl, honestly. I don't know what he's going to do with this thing. Maybe he has a plan. Maybe he does not. And we'll see what he does. Maybe he comes up with something genius that completely destroys my team completely and utterly. But we'll see what he does. Obviously, this is counter team format. Anything can be done. When Belly Jump Chestnut sweeps, anything can be done. When Swords Dance substitute Holucha sweeps, anything can be done. I swear to God, anything can happen in this format. I'm really excited to see it. Of course, next up is his Magneton. This is an amazing Pokemon. We're gonna be straight up. Magneton is amazing. Choice Scarf, Choice Specs, Eviolite. It's very versatile, very offensive, hits super hard, can trap opposing steel types, can trap my Skarmory, which is scary as fuck. It's just so good. It beats opposing steel types very easily, and it's just a great Pokemon all around. Honestly, this is great. This is a really good pickup from NU. Obviously, it does have its problems, most notably a quad weakness to ground, and a very low speed stat if it is not carrying a Scarf. But it's definitely not bad at all, and I really want to see how he utilizes this thing, because it can be so effective if it's used well. If you get creative enough, if you know what this thing can potentially do. Oh my god, this could be so scary. Also, it can pretty much be a repellent for opponents to bring steel types, because let's say I bring my Skarmory, and he brings his Magnet Pool Magneton. He traps my Skarmory, he Thunderbolts it twice, and it's gone. That's just straight up a Pokemon gone that did absolutely nothing, most likely. Which kind of sucks, because it can switch in easily as well. So that's pretty much Magneton. The next up is this other really fast Pokemon from NU, Cryogonal. It's a spinner. That's it. It's a very fast spinner. It will, if you need it to remove the rocks, it will remove the rocks. And that's it. It's super frail on the physical side. It takes no physical hits at all. Oh my god. It does take special hits quite well though. The Salt Vest set could potentially work as a full-on special wall that's Blissey-esque in its capabilities. And with reliable recovery and recover, it could be quite nice. I don't know. I just see this thing as a really fast spinner that removes the rocks if you need it to. And that's pretty much it. But it does that, of course, very well. Like, don't get me wrong. If you need the rocks removed, Cryogonal is a great option. But it is weak to those rocks. Takes 25% on switch in. And it's not like you're gonna have... You don't want to have to remove the rocks to bring a Cryogonal to remove the rocks. Because that doesn't make any sense. Right? That is gonna kind of be awkward for him. Though I don't think his team is extremely weak to rocks either, though. Speaking of weak to rocks, actually. Rapidash. Rapidash can be very good. It can be offensive, can be defensive, both work quite well. Yeah, what exactly does Rapidash do? It hits hard with Flare Blitz, I guess. A bulky set with Flash Fire and Morning Sun. Yeah, these are two, like, Rapidash and Ludicolo are actually Pokemon that function under Sun and Rain respectively very well. But he doesn't have the Pokemon he needs to set up the Rain and the Sun. So yeah, I wonder how exactly he uses these. I think he has a plan, and I think he'll use them well. But I'm not sure yet. I don't know Rapidash super well, which is why I didn't go for it, of course. But it's definitely not a bad Pokemon at all. I think it can definitely... It's one of the hardest hitting Pokemon in PU, so he could use it right well. I mean, I have used it in PU a few times, and it mainly as just a straight up wall breaker, and it did that well. So maybe it'll work very well for him. I don't know, I want to see him use this. And the same thing goes for Ludicolo, but Ludicolo I actually know very well. This thing is a Rain Dance Sweeper that can only do that role. But it does it so well. That's grass type stat move means that it beats any bulky water types that usually kind of put a stop to rain. And that is amazing. It means that really it's really hard to find a counter for Ludicolo. Because I can set up the rain against him. I cannot set up the rain against a team with a Ludicolo. Because what happens, I bring out my Swampert, he brings out his Ludicolo, and Ludicolo one-shot by Swampert. And I can't one-shot him. So, yeah, that's just really, really good pickup, honestly. I'm really excited to see him use this as well. Because, yeah, it's just a really good Pokemon. It's the best Rain Sweeper in NU, and it can definitely put in a lot of work, and I'm really excited for that. And I think that's about it. I think his team is somewhat weak to fire, but apart from that, it's a very, very good team, and I really want to see him use it super well. I'm really excited for this season and watching this team develop. And that's it for now. I'm out. Peace.